Welcome to Showmance, the only show on the internet doing deep dives on shows with no depth.
Shows even more shallow than the due diligence Lindsay did before tonight's dinner table takedown.
Bro, that was sickening.
Brava. That was like, listen, she's still working for the weekend, but she needs to be put on probation after that.
If this is not just a continuation of Lindsay's New York Housewives audition tape, like there was no other reason for that, and she wasn't even upset when she got proved wrong. She was, well, thank you for providing the receipts, and then she was like smiling to like her friends.
It's like when you play sports in high school or in college, and the recruits come, and their coach is like, "Yo, somebody's going to be in the stand," and you're like, "Oh Jesus, all right, cool," and you get a little nervous, but then you crack a home run, you win the game, you're like, "Did you see that?" I'm gonna, right?
Yeah.
It was that. She was looking to the EPs that were watching from Beverly Hills,
the
New York
Housewives scouts.
Yeah, being like, nailed that.
Yeah.
I also think that maybe Carl doesn't need to build out that van. I think software is going to work now. I think that was the thing that Carl might have needed to be like, I think I'm back, or at least like on the road.
Yeah.
What?
I'm rooting for Carl. I know, me too. I can't.
No, me too. That's what I'm saying. Like Carl needed a
I just
win,
said,
and
no,
I think
I don't believe that what you're saying is true. I said it to myself, and then I felt bad because I know I've just been so tough on him. And but I still can't believe that Soft Bar is it's still not open.
Yeah.
We're terribly hard on like the nicest guy times 1,000 on this entire show.
Maybe on all the Bravo shows.
Yeah, maybe so.
He's so lovely. I'm telling you, I spy because I care.
Because I was thinking about that too. And it's like, why is it so easy to do this? And I think it's because I seriously hate everyone on this show on some level at this point. On the level that I'm actually like, Kyle and Lindsay are being the least obnoxious out of everyone.
Yeah.
You might be flipping on Kyle.
I'm not flipping on Kyle, but it just like, if you keep...
Wait, what about Amanda?
Well, Amanda's always just sort of void to me. Like she's just... I don't
love Amanda.
No, I don't mind her at all. But like she doesn't ever... She's not usually chiming in with some like poignant stance on something or whatever. I mostly just like her that Paige probably likes her. That's probably why I like her, is that Paige loves her.
I think Johnny Smiles said forever ago that everyone on Summer House was like a total piece of shit or a piece of trash or something. And I was like, you're not wrong, but still fun to watch.
Yeah.
I love them.
And
They're
you're
friends.
not wrong. That's still not wrong. Like I was thinking that while watching this episode, I was like, dang, these people suck.
No,
like they're
they
fun,
do.
but
Okay, well, should we get into why they suck?
yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it.
For the record, I don't think they suck. I like them, but I also just am a people pleaser and like people and want them to like me.
Well,
so there's that.
there was one, and I don't
I'm
know.
going
if
to
we'll
talk
get
about
but-
it with Carl's therapist.
Yeah, real. Like I said to Nelly while we were watching, and I was like, I think Emerald is probably the most interesting person on this whole cast right now, and we're never gonna get to know that.
No,
Yeah.
no, he's not.
I bet you he is.
But he doesn't talk. You can't be on reality TV and be a mute.
You can if you're super interesting and smart, and you just took an opportunity to bang chicks in the Hamptons because you like to bang chicks or people like whatever. Like you can if and you get there and you're like,
No.
you guys are idiots. I'm gonna I don't know. I get the feeling that if they let him out a little bit, no pun intended, that we would all be like, oh my God, this dude is full of all kinds of stuff.
Interesting. I think you're very intuitive with things like that. I don't agree with it just because to me, he's like watching paint dry, even though he seems super nice. I'm just not into him on any level with anything he says at all.
What has he said though? Like,
No, when he's saying like, oh, this weekend I spent time with my niece and like, here is, I love you in Bengali, like nothing. Okay. Well, it's happening. It started with Mike. Mike started flipping on Lindsay.
Oh,
now
I'm done.
Paige has flipped on Lindsay, and I think it's happening. I think I might like Lindsay.
Yeah, no, I'm back to non-flip.
Oh, you hate her again?
I almost
Oh, yeah,
maybe
he
have
got
put
there
a
again.
lock switch on the flip because I don't think it's ever going to happen for me. I hate her. Damn.
Why?
Not that anybody gives a shit, especially her.
why do you hate all women?
Well,
He
how
does
much
like
time do we
foods
have?
better
I thought
than
you said we were
me.
only doing 90
It's
minutes
true. You
today.
do like our dude cat better than our lady cat.
Yeah.
Well, that's not entirely true. And if it was, that's because he's he was our first child.
No, I now know what it is. It's because even though Minnie is literally miniature and is like quarter of his size, she still takes him down to Chinatown every chance she gets. And you feel bad for Foof. And you feel bad for Carl. And so you hate the two women who are strong-arming these two betas. These two, as Madison would put it, beta-ass bitches.
She's got a point.
You guys are idiots. She doesn't have any points ever.
And you hate all women.
Mark is the one with the
Don't
best
forget that
takes.
part.
Let's not forget that note. But also, what did you say that Madison's baby is going to be like this next generation of people, whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Is beta. So her baby is
the
going to be
the next
a beta?
generation is called the beta generation, and Madison's baby is going to be born in the beta.
Your baby is a beta.
Let me tell you something, interwebs. If you don't believe in God and that whoever she is up there having a great sense of humor, let's rethink that. That's amazing.
I know. Well, I think if there's one person who can change things up, she's going to teach her beta. You may have been born a beta, but you ain't going to die one.
Okay. Well, now that Mike is back hating Lindsay, I'm just appreciating her. Like West said and we've said this all year. I think it was the beginning of one of our episodes where like Lindsay's actually likable and she's not fully likable, but she's as likable as she's going to get. And it's because she's pregnant. And West, it's maybe the only place West and I agree currently.
Oh, yeah.
So they're driving out. Paige is talking to Lindsay about the whole hullabaloo with now this chick sliding into his DMs, which was obviously a nothing burger.
Yeah.
But then we get to Jesse. Again, what is his deal with talking out of both sides of your mouth? When he's like, first of all, West, Jesse's a grown ass man. He did not get bullied into doing anything. You think this, what did you call her? Like a little baby pigeon or a
little baby dumpling face.
Yeah, this little baby dumpling face is not bullying West to Jesse to meet his family. He could have said, I don't think we're ready for it. I love what we're doing, but like that's moving a little fast for me. He just was trying to make up for the fact that he had his toe in some girl's mouth and it gave him a boner last week. That's why he did it.
He comes out of the gate and tells us that. Like,
Yeah,
right,
he
like
just
he
said
tells
he did.
us.
He didn't. He's just trying to. Yeah, like I don't.
No, but West was the
Right,
one
but
who
he's
was
not.
like,
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but
what
Bull,
you,
like, I don't think he was wrong. He maybe used the wrong word.
No,
But like, she definitely. I mean, pick another word. Pressured him.
I think none of that. How do we know? All we know is that Jesse is telling Wes that she's not meeting my parents. What do we know that Jesse's telling Lexi? Because everything that we see Jesse telling Lexi is all very like
beta ass bitch.
Yeah. He is the one that suggested it to her and then got weird about it after everything happened, told Wes that. I don't think he ever told her. And by the way, now that you've done this kickball thing or confronted me about this and I've had to be accountable with my actions, I'm definitely not taking you to meet my parents now. He never said that to her. Like, there's just no way. And I think that we're going to find all of that out. Like, I feel like at the reunion, he is going to be, I don't know if he'll be Wes because he's not, like, no one really, I care about Lexi. Nobody else seems to. So I don't think that people will be nearly as on him as they were with West over Sierra.
Agreed.
But like, it'll be something. I think to hear her side will be something else. She actually came out with something today and I haven't even looked at it yet. So she could have already kind of said some stuff.
I mean, she said some stuff last night on
I think she
the
had
Watch What
another
Happens
statement
Live.
today.
But yeah, I also like, again, I understand that we deep dive shows with no depth and like the irony of what I'm about to say. I get it. After watching Southern Charm and getting through that season and being like, that was just a total and all the pieces of the puzzle in the wrong spot. And I see that it's a polar bear on the iceberg, but you got all the pieces wrong. Like that, I'm now like, this Jesse thing is just bullshit. It's just,
you don't believe it's a real, like that he really likes her?
I don't know. And that's why, like, they're not together anymore, right? They probably weren't together for much longer after the show. They probably don't make it through the season. Like,
yeah, I
so
think
it
they've
just
got a couple more episodes.
Yeah, it just seems like oh, dibs, I'm going to be the one. Like West got that storyline last year. I get the storyline this year.
I think he liked her though. I do think he was.
I don't think
even
he
if for a
didn't like
hot
her.
minute, I think he was into her.
Sure, she's really pretty. And she's nice. Like she's cool. She's super cool. She seems like she's got a good head on her shoulders. Like not unlikable. Like so like who's not gonna like her? Do you know what I mean? I don't think he was like, I want to really get to know her more and spend time with this girl. I think all of that stuff that you're seeing him be like, oh, well, I didn't admit it won't happen again. Oh, squeezy, and like being a beta to her is all bullshit, you know? Like it's him being fuckboy, like a player.
Yes, and we actually have a comment that I thought like, because I know who this dude is, but it took this person who commented it to make me be like, I know someone exactly like that.
Yeah.
Is it the boyfriend experience one? Is that the comment
Maybe.
you're talking about? I'd never heard. I've heard
experience,
I've heard the girlfriend experience. I've never heard boyfriend experience.
Yeah.
So when that person said that, I was
What
like,
is what is either boyfriend or girlfriend experience? What is it?
It's when you might call a professional.
a lady of the night or a man of the night,
Gentleman of
a
the night.
gentleman caller. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. But there's no set. They come over, they make dinner, you get in your jammies, you watch a show, you cuddle on the couch, and they go home. Like maybe there's some sex, but sometimes not. It depends on how long you've been boyfriend and girlfriend. My long couples will get that one. But like, it's the girlfriend experience. You're paying for someone to come over and be your girlfriend. I never thought about or heard of it as a boyfriend experience. Maybe that's because I hate women, but it's like, yeah, totally. A girl could do that. Like, oh no, I need a boyfriend for the weekend, and come on over and let's make dinner, watch a movie, and do some sexy stuff. So, but that's Jesse. I don't think he gets paid, but like that's his jam. He's like, I just want to give you the experience. I like being a boyfriend, but I like it a lot. So I would like to be your boyfriend and her boyfriend. And hey, who are those two over there? Imrul, let's go talk to them, be their boyfriends. And
Imrul, like, can I be your boyfriend? I'm open.
Yeah, totally.
I think, fine, whether that's true or not. I agree with you guys that they're not going to last, like even like through the summer. I just got, and West is annoying me with everything. It's like, West, that is like you're just showing your ass in a situation that has nothing to do with you. He got bullied into doing this. No, he didn't. Because any guy I've ever dated would say like, hey, I'm not going to do that if they don't want to do it. You're just a weenie and couldn't say, no, I'm not doing X, Y, and Z. And now we're going to hear about it all summer.
Yeah.
She's not being nice to me.
I think that it's super weird that you're talking about that instead of the conversation that Jesse and West had that probably should have been over the phone or later in the bedroom or in the backyard.
We should finish the car ride. The car ride was obscene.
It was
for her to be sitting there.
Absolutely the weirdest thing on planet Earth.
During the car ride, isn't that when they cut to the phone call?
They'd been to the house already because that's when West was like, oh, he got bullied into it. He didn't want to do it. And then I think they cut to the phone call, which was also so weird. Like, what? Oh, you got cameras on the day that you guys were FaceTiming? Where Jesse was like, there's no way. Like, fuck off. They were like, oh, we don't have that shot. Hey, Wes, can you go upstairs real quick? Jesse, I need you to FaceTime Wes. Tighter. Perfect. Now, roll.
Hold on. Let's just reset this back. When they're in the car and she's sitting there, she's so happy. She's so excited. She's wearing another outfit that just to move one arm, an entire mammary gets exposed.
Maybe she just came from her mammogram.
Maybe so. Yeah, just wanted to make that easy for the
technician.
Yeah, the technician. I think she comes in right off the gate in her confessional and says like, "I'm giving this guy a second chance," and happy to do it. You know, gets in. Gives him a big old smoocherino and
big old,
yeah, a real big one where they didn't spend one night together and like so they had to make up for it. Pick up West and for him to ask right away how did the meeting the parents go and for Jesse to go and answer it the way that he did with her sitting there. because I cannot handle situations like that. Like she handled that beautifully, even though it was written all over her face. Like, what in the actual is happening right now? Like, what is this conversation? I would have been like, pull over. I would have jumped out. I would have just stop, drop, and rolled out of the car, because I'll be good goddamned if I'm going to spend 2.5 hours with these dorks while after he just says that to me. It just seemed like the most inappropriate and a setup of like, it's almost like they decided they were going to have that conversation in the car, because even West is like West picks up on social cues. You know,
Totally.
He's not a guy that I take would be like, you know, I just, after the fact, it's already happened. The dinner's already happened. And West is now going to offer up his sense on, if he's not ready, then let me tell you from my experience, it's not a good idea to put someone through that. Like, it just seemed so premeditated that pre-talked about, pre-planned that they were going to bring this up. And she
when
looked
you
like
say they, West and Jesse.
Yeah. Because why else would, like, that's not in West's wheelhouse too. That's not natural for him to engage in a conversation, bring up a conversation like that and then engage in it.
Here's what they did. They got Paige's book on how to be a reality star. They got through like chapter 1 and like halfway through chapter 2. So they're not done reading it yet, but they're like, we got this. And they tried to do a thing and it backfired.
I don't think that's what happened.
Oh, all right.
I think
comment down below. Let us know what you think.
Now that you say that, I think Jesse was talking to West and was like, yeah, if you can throw anything out from your experience as to why it's not good to go headfirst without a crash helmet and to go really fast, which by the way, Jesse and Sierra did it. We're comparing chalk and cheese. Like, they are so opposite because they did not go fast at all.
No.
I just think that that's probably why it got brought up and probably why West was saying, well, in my experience.
Yeah.
And it didn't even connect, because for West to say, you shouldn't just invite someone out. And it's like, bro, you inviting Sierra to get on a plane and visit your parents was not some willy-nilly thing. That was something that was planned out.
Well, he's saying that he did do that because it was no big deal to him.
That's what he's saying. His experience was, I did that because I didn't think it was that big of a deal, whether that's true or not. And it backfired. Like it actually is a big deal. I didn't really kind of think of it that way. I also think that's the same as Lexi, because she's with her mom and her sister 24 hours a day. That like meeting her parents week 2, probably pretty normal. And like,
I didn't see it as a big deal when
I just
saw it as like you're going to go back to
Jesse's
the house and talk
parents?
about this, and you're going to look like the girl who's trying to move really fast.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always just thinking about it as like, what will people think? And I know you're not supposed to care what other people think, but here I am in my late 20s and still caring.
Maybe one day you'll get over it.
But yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought he was saying it in the way that I perceived it. Clearly he was not, which makes me want to bash his head into a wall even more, because how the do you think flying someone home to meet your parents is just,
Right.
It's not like, oh, hey, we're at Hudson Yard, stop having a drink and you're walking by on your way home, stop by and say hello. That's how it seemed with...
You're flying her to a literal flyover state. You're making a point to make a city girl stop in a flyover.
You had to get a real ID for that.
Okay? Yeah, you had to get a real ID for that.
Okay? That is some stuff. Anyway. Okay, so does anyone have anything to add to the car?
I have to just give Paige a shout out. Paige is so pro that when she gets in a Kia, I thought it was funny that Paige got in and was like, this isn't my brand deal. This is my friend's brand deal. And I'm still going to pro it up because this is how it works. Oh my God, this car's so nice. Brown leather. Like, and then she said it so cheeky as well that it was like,
I just think a brand deal for one is a brand deal for all.
You think Paige got into that Kia Telluride and was blown away by how nice it was?
It was a nice interior.
I just don't believe she was doing it for the purpose that you're saying it. I think that she's doing it because
she wants a Kia.
Well, sure. Who doesn't? I don't want a Kia.
Anyway.
So you could be getting into a car and saying that because your friend has a brand deal and game recognized game, and so you're gonna, pump her up and help that. Or you could be like, I am starting phase 1 of getting everybody on board with me leaving my boyfriend of however long. I'm going to need everyone on board. I'm going to need who would know a lot about going through like a public breakup with another star on a reality show and like dealing with the aftermath of that, and like probably wish she might have done a few things different. And like, I bet I could find out what those things are so I don't make those same mistakes. Because I don't know if I have to believe that everybody watched Paige get in the car and go, "Hi, honey."
Dude, wait,
Hi,
you didn't
honey.
notice it.
Paige to Lindsay.
When she got in, I was like, wait, what? I said it out loud.
And I am all about like the evolution of relationships and friendships. And I believe that Paige is into her 30s now. She was in her 20s when she met Lindsay. She's
38.
38. And what is
Lindsay's
Paige, 30?
31.
Like Paige is now the age that Lindsay was probably when she met her. And Paige talks a little bit about that. Like, I now in retrospect, like here's things I actually like about Lindsay, which were the exact things that would make her fight to the death with Lindsay. But now, so I just think that there is something to be said for women who have been working on something that is very unique to their experience. Like it's a very unique experience. The evolution of just coming to understand what that means, but then also being in the position to know that she needs as many fans as she can get. She's going to need Lindsay to bring up later that Craig might have texted some women, and I don't know. Like, it's time to be nice to Linz.
She's planting some seeds, is what you're saying.
She's getting her ducks in the row. When we do get to Kyle's music video, Loverboy promotional DJ, whatever.
Loverboy Records?
Yeah, Loverboy Records, yeah. She's sitting in a chair by herself, and everyone else is having to like double up in chairs. And just when Amanda says, something about, look at old wide hips over here sitting here. And she just goes, "I'm very fragile today," or something like, I'm feeling very anxious today. Please be sweet. And it just made me realize that like, this was like, and I'm not hating on this. You would have to really put a lot of thought into when you were going to officially say on camera, things are starting to happen in a way that I don't know if this person is right for me anymore.
Yeah.
So I just, after seeing that scene, the opening scene with Lindsay in the car made so much more sense to me. Like this was something that she had to really plan out and think about. And is this what I want to do? Because there's no turning back after this.
You might be still in my hot takes title for the week. Not hot takes, best takes.
Best
takes.
and hot.
I don't think that's a hot take at all, but it's a good one.
Thank you. That's all I have. I'm going to go order
Like and
pizza
subscribe.
now. Yeah, like and subscribe.
Okay, so then we get to Carl's bad date where he didn't make lemonade out of that lemon. Honestly, if she pulled a baby snow leopard out of her bag, a dead mouse, a lemon, her kindergarten macaroni necklace, I wouldn't have been surprised with any of the above.
Yeah.
That poor girl Lil is strange.
If she brought out a baby snow leopard, she's 100% getting a second date.
I just mean there's nothing that she could have pulled out of that bag. From nipple clamps to macaroni necklaces to a baby snow leopard. I would have been like, that's Lil.
I'm just
Like,
happy
she's
that
just-
that we witnessed Carl's
Line in the sand.
we didn't know where it was for a minute. Like I
Right.
think we were all just like,
Yeah.
God, they seem oddly compatible, and that's not what I want for Carl. I don't want him to be compatible with this person. And I'm just glad that we all saw him go, thanks.
Do you know what's weird?
That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
You know what's weird though? Because obviously, like later in the app, we see him and Sierra have a lovely conversation, and or like you could tell Carl all of a sudden his wheels are spinning now that it's, oh, maybe I like her, maybe she's the one. Sierra and I flirted a bit in the past, and if you look back on Carl, and again, we said this like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, the only time I ever really saw him be engaged with a chick that just like felt, by the way, a lot of his behavior was abhorrent, but like where he seemed like he had some game was when he was drinking. And so now that he's sober, I'm just wondering, do you not know who you like or what you like? Because Sierra doesn't like you. And the Carl of yesteryear, I do think knew when a girl was into him. And now I don't think he can tell.
Yeah.
Because for him to say, I have feelings for, and obviously this isn't even in
Wait,
this
does
episode.
he say I have feelings for Sierra?
That's what I'm saying. This isn't even in this episode. It's in like
No,
sometime
in the
in this
the
season. He's going to
teasers.
say that. It's like, okay, so you're questioning like Lil is super nice and I'm interested and she's cute and whatever. And then later you're going to be into Sierra because she has a nice conversation with you. I just think Carl, poor Carl is just so lost.
He's just looking
Carl
for
with the lemons.
He's looking for a fluffy bunny to fall into.
Well, it's not here, that's for sure. I think everyone
Yeah.
was as relieved as we were that Carl
Yeah.
cut. What's that cut? Not cut rope, cut
Cut
bait,
ties.
cut.
Cut bait is something.
Yeah, cut bait. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's a thing.
It's a fishing thing.
yeah, cut bait. I just have this note because I did laugh out loud when Lindsay goes, Carl is weak as like, how were these two ever in a relationship and they both made it out alive with all of their limbs? She hates him so much and she has no qualms saying it, and it's fine. And speaking of people who hate people, Lexi hates Imrul for the toe suck thing, not realizing, girl, this has nothing to do with Imrul. Your boyfriend is the one who had his toe in that girl's mouth. It doesn't matter if Mike could be at a brothel and some chick could be trying to suck his toe or some other body part, and he wouldn't do it because that's not who Mike is. This is who Jesse is. No?
The toe, the toe would might get me.
Oh, you would
I'm
let
kidding.
someone do the toe?
No, that's disgusting.
He's just so weak. I mean, can't you just hear him telling Lexi, well, Emerald made me do it. Well, Wes, she bullied me into it. Well, like everything is just like whoever I can get on the phone with right now and tell like that this whole thing happened with none of my doing. Even though Jesse is a very, like, activated is the wrong word because activated is Lindsay's thing. Like, I don't mean like in a grip, but Jesse makes moves. Jesse puts plays into action all the time and then realizes probably as he's saying it, like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And like is looking for a backpedal way out. And I don't like Jesse. I don't have any leeway for him,
Season 2
probably
Jesse.
because everything you've gotten, you have been the aggressor to get it. You have been the one to seek out that. You even admit that that like day 2 or whatever, very early on, you said, my parents are going to be in town this week and I want you to come meet them. And it just so happened that you did something stupid that made it where you kind of wanted to renege on that. But like, that was your idea. Like people are just following your lead. What I find about Lexi is I'm looking at her going, you shouldn't have gone to that dinner. You know why? Because I'm older and I know that you shouldn't have gone to that dinner. Yeah. But like, you are not responsible for knowing that. You are just living your life, answering questions straightforward. Like, sure, I'll go. But like, it's just.
Even Paige said it. She's like, I was at motherfuckers' doors banging on them, being like, where are you when I was in my 20s?
Yeah.
Lexi is tame. She's ahead of the game, but she's still not that ahead of the game because you're right. She shouldn't have even gone.
Yeah.
I do think that this is actually just a tragic flaw of Jesse's that has been with him pre-cancer, post-cancer, pre-band nerd, post-band nerd, all the things. He has fucking nice guy-itis and has to tell one version of a story to someone that he wants them to feel a certain way about him. And then he's tailoring the other version of the story, which is probably more truthful and probably more how he feels, to his boys or to his best girlfriend or whatever. And he's got to realize in life, they're always going to meet. These two groups of people are always going to compare notes. So the faster that you can just get on board with one version of the story that's hopefully pretty close to the truth, the faster your life will be easier. Yeah. Because it's real annoying.
It reminds me totally in this moment that I had a roommate that I moved to LA with. I haven't talked to in a long time, but we lived in Santa Barbara together. And then we were both moving to LA at the same time. We were good friends for a long time. And so we moved here together and he was super cute. And and all the him and I were friends from the get because I met him because of his girlfriend. So like that just was never a thing. I think my mom always goes, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, 1,000% nothing ever. But anyhow, new girls every weekend, lovely girls. Some of like girls that I still am like, can't believe you let that one go. What a dumb you are. But he was just a dumb dude that could literally get anyone. Every time we would go out, he would come home with some hot girl. And I would go to work, and I was working at Nordstrom at the time. So I would be like, we'd be up all night. I'd go to work the next day. I get home, and she'd still be at our house, like these girls would be. And I know that they were in their minds thinking, We met last night. I stayed the night. I spent the whole next day with him. We got Paquito Mas.
His roommate gave me the Nordstrom Friends and Family discount.
Yeah, like we're texting. He didn't want to take her home. He'd be like, oh, I have to drive her all the way to wherever. So they would end up sometimes spending a couple nights because he just didn't want to like drive them home. And he was also just like pretty like blasé about everything. He would just, and also super kind of self-absorbed. So like just kind of talk their ear off about things. And they're probably thinking like, he's
really
divulging all
Yeah.
these things to me. We've now spent 2 nights in a row together and I'd never see them again. And I'm sure they were thinking, what happened?
We really had a connection. Do you know the service this dude did for you? That is like, you're the luckiest person in the world that you got to experience that.
I would witness it every weekend.
That's crazy.
He
that you
just
got to
doesn't
witness
want to
it.
drive you back to Santa Monica.
By the way,
Anyway.
that I don't blame him for.
Yeah.
But
It's the only reason I'm still here after 15 years. She didn't want to drive me back to the valley.
Yeah.
Idiot.
you learn from the best. Oh God.
Anyway, so that was random, but yeah, a lot of things can be seen as just super nice. And the thing that this comment said, and I should probably just pull it up right now because I'm going to keep referencing it, but basically just said that like he's calling you every day because he truly wants to. It just doesn't mean what you think it means.
I know.
He's telling you all these things. He does mean them in the moment. He's not bad intentioned. He just doesn't understand yet that like you don't say, come meet my parents.
Do you know
if
what
you
it's
don't
like?
mean come meet my parents.
It's like when a young kid gets a really nice car for a first car. They love that car. They're so psyched to show it off to all their friends. But that doesn't mean they're responsible enough to have that car.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I feel like the next thing that is on the docket is this stupid dinner that I couldn't be less interested in.
The takedown dinner, the dinner table takedown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kyle has one every year. Maybe Lindsay does, but Kyle's are just so bad that we maybe forget Lindsay sometimes.
Yeah.
Like the matriarch and the patriarch of the show, like they've got to give their one thing. And she's like, this isn't going to work, you guys, but like, I'll do it, because I'm in it to win it. So that's what it felt. It really felt like it was just like her annual job.
She's usually drunk and activated.
Yeah.
So that's why they usually are a bit spicier. But this time she's just like, okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
But it was
did someone get dessert?
Yeah.
this whole 2-episode arc was built off of the most obvious lie, stretching of the truth that I've maybe seen on a reality show ever. Like, that girl never said that she slid into his DMs in the summertime. She never said any of that. Gabby, I don't think maybe ever, because you were like, oh, she got it from Gabby. I'm like, I don't know if she did. I think fucking what's her name? I think Lindsay just heard a thing, made up a story, and was like, oh, this is going to be huge. I'm going to run with this for a couple of weeks. Like, there was no truth at all to any of the things she was saying. And she ran with it, told everyone, to the point, Gabby, ooh, did it, ooh, that, like, what the man? Like, none of this is true, and you're going to, and then you brought it up, I didn't even realize it, you're going to do this takedown dinner when you know it's a lie the day before his anniversary of his dead brother. Like, you fucking piece of shit.
Oh, I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
dude.
Yeah.
Like,
No, rain, sleet, snow, or hail, or
Yeah.
tragic family death.
yeah,
On Lindsay,
doesn't give a
New York Housewives, you can rely.
right.
Drama
but like,
will be delivered.
fine,
Yeah.
sure. So like, my point is, I don't watch the Housewives. Is that all they are? Like, I've seen Housewives, and the reason I don't watch the Housewives is because I think those people are fucking trash. Like, and I don't like watching
We're cutting
shows
that.
where
Yeah.
I don't think people deserve to have their story told. So like, to cut it down, I don't give a but like,
And
is the Housewives made up of just chicks lying, like coming up with full on lies?
we've all got one.
And it's obvious? Like, it's obvious?
No.
We will
that's
not
true.
be covering that show.
Everyone,
These two can then. I'm
I
not
think
watching
it's-
that.
Beverly
shit.
Hills is different.
I think
but
it's
Salt
different.
Lake, New York,
If
Jersey.
those shows are built off 3 or 4 wives being like XYZ, XYZ, and one of them going off and being like, they said A, B, C, and D, fuck you. And that's a whole thing until they're like, oh, you said A, B, C. And they're like, no, I actually said XYZ. And they're like, show me proof. And they're like, here's the proof. And they're like, oh, okay, fine. Who's up next? Like, then yes,
It's
Lindsay,
more
congratulations, you've
nuanced than
casted.
that.
That was just a load of
Listen,
shit. And it
this
was
one-
obvious. It wasn't even hidden.
This one was, she had to scrape for one because she's not in the position to have one. She's not drinking. She's not bringing her boyfriend here.
Definitely. But they usually trick us a little better.
Yeah. No, they were
Right? Like,
scraping. This one was scraping.
This was a
Yeah.
total piece of
Yeah,
shit.
because she's
lie.
not in her full.
If
she's
take that
fuller,
out of the
actually,
episode,
so.
and you've got nothing. You've got Carl crying in the backyard, and everyone supporting him, and that's it. You've got nothing else.
The most interesting thing about the dinner to me was that Sierra was seated next to Jesse and Lexi was seated next to Sierra. What? It was Jesse at the head, then Sierra, then Lexi.
Oh.
Why wasn't, after the week you guys had and the one person in the house that you got word that they were flirting, she's going to sit in between you guys?
Yeah,
Is that
no,
not weird to anyone else?
No, that what?
Why the isn't Jesse pulling Lexi aside saying like, hey babe, I saved this seat next to me for you, not the girl that I was flirting with all weekend while you
Yeah.
were gone.
Yeah, I don't know
That was
what
weird.
that was all about. Yeah, that was
Anyway,
weird.
then we do have Carl crying the next morning, which obviously is heartbreaking.
Since it's a summer house, we're always going to be there when Carl has to go through the day of remembrance.
I was thinking the same thing in the respect of like, I get that he doesn't want to make a big deal. You know, when someone is trying not to make a big deal of something and then they end up making a bigger deal out of it because they're like, no, don't pay attention to me. And it's like, you've stopped the whole performance. Like the band has stopped playing, the speaker stopped speaking, the singer stopped singing. We're all focused on you now. So like, we've got to deal with it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no right way to grieve. I'm not saying that there is. He knows that he's going to be doing this on television. Like he knows it's this day. He knows it's loaded because he found out on Lindsay's birthday, even though Lindsay's birthday, I think, is the 11th. He died on the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And so like
Like found out on the 11th.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So you know these two things are forever like inextricably
Every year
linked.
we're going to see Lindsay's birthday
Yeah.
and Carl's day of remembrance.
So I just wonder if it would be, I'm just offering this to you, Carl. I'm not criticizing you. I'm offering this to you as your pseudo armchair expert. Maybe plan for it and
Maybe don't come that weekend.
or like say, hey, I want to do this great thing in remembrance for my brother. I want to go to the beach and I want to put like a floral wreath in the ocean and like say something
yeah.
nice about him. Because I feel like by him sitting in the backyard, silently trying to like hold in his tears and choke them back. And then people come out, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm fine, but you don't have to leave.
You didn't make your bed. Is everything okay?
Right. Like he's leaving all
He's
of
leaving a trail.
Right. And for Carl, that's traumatic. So it's like he's leaving all these little clues without just saying, like, today's a really shit day for me. My brother died this time 3-4 years ago. My heart is broken. And
Yeah.
I'd love to do something with the house to remember him.
Yeah.
I just feel like that might be helpful for you, Carl.
Yeah.
Not shitting on you, just offering.
I want to give Mike a little bit of credit.
This mic?
Listen, we have talked so many times about how there's just like a plethora of things that he'll always be like, well, I would have done that, but that happened. Well, then this, but that, but that. But you said from the jump, you're like, I think this guy has survivor's remorse. And I don't know if we've ever heard him, and maybe we have, but I don't remember him ever saying why him and not me.
He said it. He said it again this week, but
That's what I mean. He said it today, but I didn't remember him saying it before. But you had clocked that. I think he has survivor's remorse, and like clearly he does.
He totally has survivor's guilt, 100%, right? But we talked about this last week. There's always been something with him, and I don't know if maybe it was because his brother was really struggling with drugs and alcohol. So maybe before he had survivor's guilt, maybe he had the fighting against like, oh, my brother is so messed up with drugs and alcohol, like so in the grips of addiction that I like, I got to go out and prove myself even more and like
Yeah.
have some big swinging dick of like, I'm on a reality TV show. I'm banging every girl. I'm going to get, you know, a job at this cool startup that's on TV. So maybe every part of him that we've seen is just a different cycle of him moving through the relationship with his brother.
Yeah.
Because he also didn't talk to his brother for years before he died.
Yeah.
So clearly things weren't good even before he died. So maybe it's like Mike said, the survivor's guilt, and then maybe it's the stuff even before that. And maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I feel like honestly, the whole rest of the episode, and people might be not wanting to hear us talk about it, I don't know. It was really just more, okay, yeah, they're out at that stupid DJ thing. And what's his name? Jesse can't look at girls. And West is
Why was it stupid?
the stupid DJ thing.
Yeah.
It's just funny that they like made a music video out of it.
What were they supposed to do?
Have we ever gone to an event that they put in slow motion?
On Summer House?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably.
No, I
don't think so.
No, like this is,
No,
Kyle is, listen, I have a couple actually things to say about Kyle. He is very hardworking for this brand. The liquor's mine, and now I'm providing the music and I'm providing the vibe. And like, he's really doing everything he can to like get people excited about the brand. He goes by like DJ Loverboy or something.
Does he?
Like, cause I looked it up to be like, what is Kyle's DJ name?
The
And it
best
just said that,
DJ
like,
name.
He doesn't have an official DJ name, but he'll just say like, it's like DJ Loverboy is doing this like event, but it's all Loverboy event. So it's not like DJ Loverboy is going to Coachella. Maybe he is, who knows, you know?
Stay tuned.
Yeah. But then the other thing I wanted to say, him and Amanda went to Italy together, and he's like, Amanda held my hand. Clearly Amanda has been checked out for, various reasons of I'm sure between them running a business together and also going through what she just personally has been. I just want to say that like Mike and I own a business together, and it is really fucking hard. Spoiler alert, this isn't a fancy studio. This is our house and we live here. And it's been so cold that I've literally moved my edit bay into our bedroom. And so
What up?
because I'm editing 24 hours a day. I hadn't really thought about like, I'm always really hard on Kyle, but like it is hard to keep the spice of a relationship going when you are living and breathing. Like there is no divide of our personal life and our work life. Certainly not now that I've rolled the edit bay into the bedroom. If we are going to do it, you're going to see two flashing Nautify Studio screensavers.
And we got to make sure the little camera covers, because I always get weird that someone's watching.
That's great. And he'll try to get fresh with me. And I'm like, you better book a hotel, because I do not feel sexy in this house anymore. Everything here is just, I don't feel myself. I'm run ragged all the time. Like, and so I think like it took them leaving the country and going on a vacation. And she says, Kyle actually didn't work for a week. Like she was blown away by that.
And she said, I stayed up late.
She stayed up late. And I felt that so hard. And I never even thought about like that being like a massive thing in their relationship, that they have been working together on this brand for so long, and how like it takes such a toll. You have to really go out of your way to like make the other person still feel like they're not just your business partner and roommate at a certain point.
And they also work from their home.
And that's what I'm saying. Like at least because I think they have like their apartment. I think they have a second apartment in the building. But it still is like,
I tried to do that.
it probably looks the same, like this, the layout's the same, and it's probably just like more space, but yeah, it's, anyway, just like I said, I always try to like, when there is something that I'm like, good on you. Like, well, I don't know how it's good on anyone, but like I understood for the first time a layer of them that I hadn't thought about in a long time, that like, it's a slog.
It was very sweet.
Yeah. And like it took her leaving the country to be like, hello.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao twice if you're nasty.
I can't tell if you're saying we're going to do it later tonight, or if I have to take you to Italy.
Or a hotel. but we also need new set furniture. So, you know, that's the thing, is that you're constantly thinking, yeah, we have money. Obviously, Mike has an amazing job. We have money. We need more cameras. We need another editor. We need a faster edit bay. I hate this couch. We need more lover boys and more spritzes if they're going to stay in business.
The only reason I said the stupid DJ thing is because this episode was kind of like whatevs for me, and I love this show. I just didn't, I feel like I said the stupid dinner, the stupid DJ, it's nothing. And I like Kyle, I'm here for his DJing. Because I think he is doing it, like you're saying, responsibly, in the sense of he's tying it into a business he already has. 2 birds, 1 lover boy.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Really, the rest of the episode was Paige. It was the Paige and Craig stuff.
Yeah.
All over again. And I just have questions. That's all. I just have questions because she's saying a heck of a lot more stuff than he is. I say it every week. I'm not saying that I don't believe Craig. I'm just saying that I do believe Paige and what she's saying, because I've never known Paige to be a liar.
I don't think that there's anything that, like, what would we say, like, aside from like the texting to girls? Like, I still just think that is like, I'm not touching that. I think that I can find a million reasons as to like why Lindsay would back her up on that, why she would have to say that, yada yada. But like, I don't, like, Craig just basically is saying that like he didn't see it coming. I don't think that Craig saw it coming, because Craig just decided that it wasn't coming. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's like, I don't think anyone has really lied about what has happened.
No,
you know?
I think people think she's lying. Like, she doesn't make more money than him, or she doesn't have a bigger career than him. And he was like I think a lot of people see him as just like the best, most supportive boyfriend, which he could have been. By the way, he also could be the best, most supportive boyfriend for someone else.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wasn't giving her support in the way she needed because their love languages or whatever are different. Because she keeps bringing up the fact that she never felt supported with her work, and she felt like she was dating a little bit of a hater. And I never saw that on the show, but obviously things happen off of the show.
Yeah.
And she even said last week, he said, "You think I'm really going to say on camera that you're busier than I am?" And not for nothing, and people might be upset with me when I say this, I get why she said the breadwinner comment now that we've heard the whole story. She said multiple times, "I don't want to move to Charleston."
Yeah. I've never thought she should.
You've always said that.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Fine, we'll do it from New York." But then he, I guess the way she told it, kind of reneged on that or got cold feet. And she said, if she's saying I make more money in the relationship, so why would you pull me out of the place that makes the lion's share of the money if we're going to meld households?
Yeah.
And I do get that. And I actually do think it's a fair point.
Yeah.
Like, if you are in a long distance relationship with someone and money is important to the relationship, if she just wanted to live on a farm, he could fully, or live like a sweet life in Charleston, he could fully support that and they could live a great life. That's not the life she wants.
Yeah. I think that he probably would have gone there, but I think he would have just been like, oh God. I think he just would have been super like negative Nancy about it. And she would have always just been like, I dragged you here and I knew you didn't want to. But I also just think that like with how she's doing this and like the rollout of it. And again, no hate on the rollout, because as we talked about last week, that the Bravo audience has turned on her like way more than they like. Craig gets by with a lot more. And coming from the #1 Craig fan, he just does. Boys do. Look at our comment section. Everybody loves this tool. Especially moms with sons. They're always giving so much.
Oh my God, I got
flavor.
into an argument with my mom once about something very similar to this.
Yeah. I remember that. She's having to roll this out the way that she is because honestly, you guys gave her no choice. I'm sorry. I love you guys. And I'm a part of you guys. Like
You're a part of the problem?
I'm a part of the problem. Yeah, exactly. Hi. In the very beginning, I've always said like I love them equally, but I was more just like, Paige, come on. Just let him say whatever he wants. Just deal with it. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But like she's having to plan it out. It is now 4 months ahead of when it happened. So we now know that like August 10th or 11th, she put her plan into action to start telling you now that things are not working.
Do you think she would tell him what she talked about when they were filming? Or do you think she was like, screw that, I'm buttoning it up and he could see it when he sees it because I know we'll already be broken up?
I feel if I had to, because I have no idea, I would say she didn't tell him.
I think so too.
If like, because like I said, when
Tell him what she told Sierra at the picnic table, like after the filming, like
I don't think
texting Craig and
she-
being like, "Had a real great talk with Sierra on camera today about how you might not be my person." You think is that where we're at? Is that what we're talking about right now?
I don't think she was as like. I think she wasn't telling him much of anything. Not even like what you're saying. Full transparency. I told Sierra you might not be my person. I don't even think she said to him that she brought it up.
Right. I mean, if she did, then Craig
lied about
is
everything.
a fucking
Massive
like
liar, if she did.
crazy. Not just like Craig, you silly little liar. You're a psychotic liar.
Well, like you are a strategist. Like you,
You guys are playing the same game.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, you might
Just
not
playing it completely
that.
differently. Like they've taken two different stances.
Well, almost the same.
fine. Like yeah,
But
but like yeah, not
obviously they're
one's
against
not
each
better
other.
than the other.
No,
though.
no,
Like,
I don't
they're
think one's
both-
better than the
Yeah.
other. I just think he was like, I didn't see it coming, and she's planting the seeds so that people can see her rollout of this business.
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, but there's no way she was telling him any of this stuff. Like I do believe that Thanksgiving or whenever she called and was like, "Yo, dude, I don't know about that." I don't know. I believe that was the first time Craig found out.
Oh no, see, I think after they wrapped, I think in October, beginning of November, I think she started to say like, look, we're not in a good place. We need to talk about this. I think she would maybe vacillate where
Why?
at some
Do
point,
you have a reason for thinking that? Like, did you hear something or?
only because he's said so many times, like she would vacillate. She would be all in and then she would get really
but for
scared
3
and pull
years.
back. But I think it got
But
very,
see, that's another thing that, not to interrupt, sorry. When Sierra was like, "Oh, did you ever think you're going I'm not moving to fucking Charleston. I'm the breadwinner." I've told him multiple times I'm not moving to Charleston. But then Craig says, "Oh, well, I'm just so confused because she told me multiple times, let's buy a farm and let's move to Charleston." And she said it, I'm a girl. Like I come up with fantasy and I get that. Like I do that shit all the time. Like, "Whoa, let's move to the farm." And
just because you're a girl.
right. But like shit's just not adding up, which is not
That's what
shocking.
I said last time we filmed. I'm like, we're missing something. These dots are not connecting.
I think it's a lot simpler than like two things can be true. He could have not been rah rah sis boom bah to the level that she wanted him to be, but also I just believe that slowly at a certain point she started to fall out of love with him. She just was feeling a little bit less and less emotionally connected to him, a little more getting like, this isn't the guy, but also they've been together for a while. Like there's habits, there is comfort, it's not easy. Like sometimes you do think about all the bad things, from losing half of your audience support to losing a person that's always there for you. Like
and
just
she
like
did say,
your confidant,
like,
you know?
I don't want him to be with anyone else.
Yeah.
I don't want to be with anyone
Yeah.
else. I think that's confusing.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and I also always say that by the time a woman leaves, she's probably known it could be a year that she could have known that or the first time she felt it was a year ago, put it up, kind of put it aside for a while, probably had some great weekends, had a couple good trips, maybe went to Italy. I think they did have some really amazing trips together.
Yeah.
At some point, the same things keep popping up. Add on top of that, like I said, all of the, like, we are both public figures, how to roll out a breakup from there. You've got to start however many months advance planting those seeds. So like, I think that all those things were happening, but I also just believe that she didn't want to be with him anymore. And she just wanted to maybe be with someone else, or maybe just didn't want to be with him anymore. So it was like both.
I think everything you're saying is dead on balls accurate.
Well, what's the thing that you're saying doesn't, like, what are we missing? Like,
I don't know, because he made it sound like the only issue they had is that she didn't want to have kids for the next few years. And like her career, maybe was coming first, but she's sitting here saying like, you didn't support me. You like had that thing before I was going on stage one time. You won't like hype me up on camera. There seems to be some questionable behavior from what Paige is saying. And Craig's just like, but we were best friends and we had the best sex life, which both can be true. Maybe Craig just doesn't want to say like, listen, I learned so much from the relationship. I realized how I could have been a more supportive partner.
yeah, he's not going to say.
And then Paige could have been like, same for me.
Yeah.
I was really tough on him, but that's also my personality. So now I know what kind of person to date. She seems a bit more aggressive with her qualms about him as opposed to him just being like, I'm brokenhearted and
wouldn't you have to be though? Like if you were a woman in this business and you knew exactly like what was very likely going to happen to you, you wouldn't just be able to say like, we fell out of love. It was a time in my life. Like the women already hate her for even having the reasons that she does. So she would have to really, I'm not saying that it's not true that,
no, me either.
That he didn't support her. I'm not saying that that's not true. But like you couldn't also say, and I just wasn't feeling him anymore. Like you've got to leave this audience with believing that you tried everything and he didn't support you as a woman. And so like, she's
I
just
see
like
what you're
hammering
saying.
it.
That's a great point.
With a couple that is not even close to Craig and Paige, you're demanding an explanation from West, who's just saying, I didn't like her anymore. He's saying that, and everyone's fucking losing their minds. They went, no, that's not enough. We need an explanation.
No, that's not why I've lost my mind with
an
West.
explanation, and we're like, oh no, we just need them to say they don't love each other anymore.
I think you're comparing apples to oranges. With West, I'm not annoyed that he doesn't like her anymore. I'm annoyed that you can't just say, I'm sorry, I was a shithead. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah.
I don't care that you don't like her anymore. People fall out of lust, love all the time.
Right. But at one point you were like, I need an explanation. I need receipts. I need to know why West doesn't like her anymore.
I just said that sometimes I just think like, you got to just be like, I didn't like her anymore. Like and then people would be like, oh, what a dick. But then like you'd move on from there. Right now, there just seems to be like he's kind of danced around it. Yes, he has said things that like where we can all relate. No, you had a bunch of girls that were DMing you.
Yes.
You were newly famous. We figured it out. But like he just never really said like, she's super great, but I want to fuck 15 other girls
by the way,
same day. So like that can't be a thing. You can't probably be in a relationship because of, if that's how you're feeling.
It's so funny because yes, is that kind of a gross thing to just out and out say, especially when you have what we perceive as a really lovely person as an option to be your chick. But I'm so curious if he did just say it. Do you know what I mean? Just say, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that getting into this, I was going to get all this attention from other women, and I'm not ready to be in a monogamous relationship, and I want to go out and sow my wild oats, and I did you dirty, and I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah.
I really feel you can't hate on that.
That's what I said.
It's rule.
That's exactly what I said. I said, rip the Band-Aid off. It will suck for a minute. He will still get some, whatever dumped on him from a balcony from a high rise somewhere as he's walking. But like, I'm that guy and I'm real sorry about it. And then we would be like, anyway,
yeah,
we would move on with our lives. What? You don't think?
No.
Oh, I think.
I think you get 6 more episodes of how I can't believe he would say something like that. Right to my face.
What? Maybe with him saying, if he brought it into like the Bravo sphere where it's like I'm on a new show, like breaking that fourth wall, then yeah, maybe we would be like, well, we're the ones that are giving you the attention because we're the audience, we're your fans.
Yeah.
We can take that away from you just as easily as we gave it to you. So
yeah. I didn't mean to go on the whole thing, but
well, 2 things really quickly. Can I have a Coors, Mike? That was my one. My second thing is, I think this is just to answer your question with like the disconnect. When Craig's on the Southern Charm reunion and he's like, and then all of a sudden like a box of my stuff just shows up at my front door. If she's saying all of this to you for a while now, like, I don't feel supported. Why are you a hater? Blah, blah, blah. Like then and he has said, in all fairness to Craig, he did say, he's like, she did mean the breakup. It just took me a minute to get there. And I think it is now I'm coming full circle with all this. I think it's exactly what both of you have been saying, where it's like, he's just living in a reality that's not reality.
yeah, he just decided that's not a thing. I think we're all just so looking forward to this being
over. OVER.
Yeah. Did you have anything else?
Mm-mm.
Where are we? Okay,
That's
so we're there.
That's really the end of the.
So one thing I just wanted to, I thought was kind of interesting. There's a group of people that have been sort of up in arms about the idea that Sarah, Paige, and Amanda aren't the girls that they proclaim, their self-proclaimed girls status. Just groups of people in all the comments on socials, like where you could just, there's definitely this general consensus that if Jesse was doing to Sierra what he's doing to Lexi, that they would be holding him to the fire, like just decimating him on socials, going on the after shows and just like takedowns, you know? And with Lexi, and after I was reading these, I did go back to this episode and I'll put up just some screenshots because it is kind of interesting because it is, I had said before that like I would like that I believe that Sierra does not owe anything to Lexi. She's been friends with Jesse for I don't know how long now, at least probably 18 months or so or whatever. Like I think you can still be a girl's girl and loyal to the person you have an established friendship with. Like I don't think that makes you not a girl's girl just because like you're friends with Jesse. I don't even think they know her well enough to get up in arms about something. But like when Lexi's telling them about what happened, they all seem to be like pretty blasé about it since it's just Lexi. And so people are looking at that and being like, you care about your friend. You're not a girl's girl. You're not fighting for women. You're fighting, you're a friend fighter. I think it's this shitty thing that Lexi doesn't have a friend. Lindsay came on and said Bailey isn't on the show anymore because she might have misrepresented herself. Lexi then didn't have a friend to argue for her. The way that they are not acting to Jesse now, not holding him to the fire, they might be looking at what Jesse's doing right now and being like, well, at least we don't have to do anything. If you can't even get Paige and Sierra up fighting over what would set them on fire just a mere year ago or whatever, it's kind of an overarching theme of what maybe people are picking up on in a variety of areas on this show. They're in bed. Nobody wants to work. No one thinks they have to do anything. A lot of people's needs have changed. It's an evolution of life. You know, you're not in the same place you were when you started on this show. It might be time for some changes on the show. It might be time for Summer in the City to be a show. and we find some other friends who have a share house already, who know each other. I don't know if this is making any sense. It's kind of all over the place.
No, it totally is. And I think it's an amalgamation of stuff where
10 years.
It's 10 years, yeah, exactly. This is the 10th season or the 9th season.
Years.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Okay, we're closing in on 10 years.
Yeah.
Also, Lexi came in. She doesn't have a friend, but she also didn't ingratiate herself with the girls because she's riding for Jesse.
Yeah.
So when you go for the guy, like you can't be in two places at once. You can't be in Jesse's bed and be in the bed with the girls, kikiing with them.
I don't know if that would have mattered though. I think those girls are notoriously cliquey, not in a bad way, but they are.
No, but this is my point, that it's an amalgamation of things where it's like she doesn't have a friend and she's with a dude.
Yeah.
So like if she was just bouncing around by herself, like remember when Maya first came in and she felt a little lonely and and then all of a sudden they have the moment and then they bond and whatever. So it's like, but she hasn't had that yet because she's got Jesse. So when she goes to the house, of course, I would get it. I would too. If I had a guy in the house that I was in love with, like I would want to go and make out with him. They have been giving Lexi like some good advice where they're saying, you should just be aware of this, whatever, but they're not connected to her.
No, exactly.
So they're not going to just, and I think that is real. They're not just going to all of a sudden be like, you're my ride or die and I got your back, girl. And I also think it's season 10. They're tired. They're all going through their own stuff.
Exactly.
I think that Amanda's been struggling with mental health stuff. Sierra's coming off of a brutal, kind of bumpy ride with West. Paige is clearly in the middle of like a category 5 hurricane.
Yeah.
And I just think all of that together has created a disjointed summer for us as a viewer and why we're feeling this way. Because I do think they are girls.
They should be the best, this should be the best season of Summer House that ever existed. It should be in the top 5 seasons of reality shows ever. For me, all the shit that you just listed, all this shit these people are going through. Carl and Lindsay divorced. Lindsay's pregnant. Carl's trying to get back on his feet. Craig and Paige are breaking up. There's a new girl. There's a big difference between girls fucking railing West, going after the dude, right? Because you fucking piece of shit, you fucked with our girl, and telling some rando, hey, that dude you're dating, he flirts with all the girls when you're not here. So just be aware of that. That's a thing to do. That's a move. That's I'm going to get in your head. And I'm not saying this to Paige. Anyone could have said it. But during that whole scene, when you do your little screen grabs, make sure you show the one of Lindsay smirking in her little chair while this was all going down.
Lindsay told
those
her.
chicks are they're and I'm not like they're not girls. They are for their girls.
A girl definition, like everyone has a
Totally.
different. And Paige does say after it's initiated, she does say all the things that like you would want to hear. But to see her face and like I said, I'll just to show there's a vast difference of how they're acting. So I think everybody needs to check themselves on like, what do you expect from a girl's girl? Because like, if you just met Lexi 5 minutes ago and you know this guy, and you also might be thinking everyone needs to go through this. This is a rite of passage on this show. We've all been there. Like,
yeah, but the next act, I'm going to tell you how horrible men are. Like, whatever, dude. This is such a bag of shit. Like, either your producers need to get changed because they can't handle the cast anymore, which is a huge thing that happens. The cast outgrows a producer. When you start, your producer's the boss. When you're 9 years in, you're the boss. Yeah,
it's like
now you're friends and you can manipulate them.
The same person for however many seasons, like you're just gonna get into like at this point you're friends,
and you're both making money, and there's a good chance you're both are like, what are we gonna phone it in? Like, you know. And listen, I'm not saying that's about every producer's, but everyone gets complacent. If the cast is getting complacent, the crew is getting complacent.
Everyone just seems tired because I don't think that they're bitchy girls who are cliquey and not nice to other girls. I don't think it's that at all. I think it's, like I said, I think it's an amalgamation of things. And I also think like everything that you brought up totally ties into it. And of course, could they be not as interested in Lexi because they have no actual tie to her? And it is, what is your definition of a girl's girl? Because I know what mine is. And it fits what they're doing. But regardless, I think everything about this season just feels tired.
Yeah.
Lexi's a sacrificial lamb. She is. Because she's like, everyone's, she doesn't have friends. Amanda's her friend. Amanda is her friend. Amanda is the one that brought her to this thing.
Well, that's what they tell us.
Exactly.
You know?
So she didn't bring her as a friend, as a like, oh, I got a new girl. They needed a sacrificial lamb. And she's like, I got two. I don't know if one will stick around, but the other one, 100%. Well, this girl's addicted to being famous and a model and whatever and dating famous dudes. Like, she will be everything you need. And they brought her. She did exactly what Amanda said. And the rest of them are chilling, like you said. They're like, cool. We got the sacrificial lamb. She's got this season covered.
But it could be, to my point, because I said this earlier in the season, don't cast someone who has a big social media following.
Oh, yeah.
They're a different kind of person. Yes, if you're on a Real Housewives show, that's another beast. I'm talking about Summer House, Southern Charm. Like, we need people who are quote unquote normal people, hungry, want to be on the show. Not somebody who already was dating, I don't know any young famous guys, but apparently she dated a few. Already has over 1 million followers. Like, she's just playing the game differently.
Okay, so then how's this though? Everyone, there's a lot of people that I see all the time bringing up that whole point that like, I can tell that this person doesn't hang out with these people. These are not real friends. You're placing someone. So to go find someone that has no following, that is friends with a group of people that have been working in this business for 10 years, like,
to put someone on TV that has no following is a death sentence. You're fired.
West had no following. Jesse had no following.
This is a bigger conversation that is about advertising dollars leaving television, and we don't have any money anymore. So you can't put regular people on TV. No one's watching TV. You got to get the kid who has 1 million social media followers, because that's where all the fucking eyeballs are. There's not even 1 million people that watch this show every week. That girl's got 1 million on her socials, and she's agreed to come on our show. Get her. She has a fucking friend that's got 500,000. Get her. That's twice as many viewers as we have. That's what's happening. Like, these people are hiring these people because we have to. You have to get. It's the only way that your show's going to get advertising and get promoted. And because there's no more money. There's no more money.
And sometimes it still doesn't even work.
And
But I was going to say, I don't think it works.
It didn't know it
it's
does.
not whether
Because
it works or
remember,
not.
like,
That's the
listen,
reason it's happening.
I didn't even
and it does
realize
work
this
sometimes.
at the time. And like we were like, I think that you actually realized it. I didn't at all. But the last pilot that we went in to work on to do Punch Up for, I had no idea. I knew that the guy who created it, which is my old boss, and that brought us in to work on that. I knew that he was like, oh, the person that's playing this part has like a jillion followers because she's like a massive Disney star.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Same. No idea who she was.
I had no idea who she was. It was Sabrina fucking Carpenter.
Yeah.
And it took him texting me just like a few months ago being like, can you believe that the girl that you were writing jokes for, like where she is now? And I'm like, where is she now? I don't know.
Yeah,
and
by the way,
like,
I know that she has like people follow her and love her, but I wouldn't know her if she bit me on the nose, don't know her music, don't know anything about her.
Like right now, you don't.
But,
yeah.
Oh, well,
No idea.
I mean, I know who she is now
Are
because
you
she
being
toured with Taylor
serious?
Swift, but like I did not know this whole time. And I had to go talk to her twice to give her 2 jokes to say, like on shoot night, and I still never put the 2 together that's who that was.
Greg goes, she has 19 million followers. I was like, oh, that's why she's here.
Anyhow, long story short, we're doing this, so clearly we're not working on the show because it didn't make it to series, and I still cannot believe. I sometimes wonder, I think, was that Fox? I think it was a Fox show. I still wonder if Fox was like, why didn't we pick up that show?
Nat, it also, remember it also had that guy Twitch, who was that famous dancer.
Like, I forgot about him too.
Like million followers or whatever. Now he's passed away. And
so they've been, they've been working. Basically now everybody casts as many people as you can that have followers.
I know I'm a dinosaur and it's not, I just don't think you get the best.
I never think of it either. It is because Mike works on one of the biggest shows on television. I don't know I'm sure maybe Idol's bigger. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
If we're talking unscripted, and I'm not being a dick, there's nothing bigger than AGT from a production standpoint. Idol is singers.
Yeah.
It's singers. You get to sing. Okay, can stand there and sing.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. We'll see you in a couple hours. We have 48-person gymnastics crews from Indonesia that are throwing kids off fucking balconies while they're on fire. Chicks blindfolding themselves, standing on their head, shooting bow and arrows at their friends from their feet. Like, there's nothing like this show on anywhere. Nowhere.
And still, nothing is safe. Like, you still, because of the transition, we wait and we find out just like every other show does. But you would think certain shows have to just be like, oh, no problem, definitely getting renewed. No idea. No idea. Because of the transition. So I understand why they have to do this.
No, totally.
But it's not a slam dunk.
Yes.
Ever.
And when I say like I don't mean you don't get the best talent or whatever. I'm just saying doing that solely off of this person has 5 million Instagram followers as opposed to this person is this role and has the best chemistry with their counterpart. Right?
You know how long it takes to find that person?
No, I get it. I come from a theater background and like understanding chemistry and being on stage and all that stuff. I get that it's really hard. I'm just saying, I think that there's something that's old fashioned in me, and it's the artist in me that loves to see that something from nothing. And yes, if you happen to have 5 million Instagram followers, amazing. If you don't, that doesn't matter. But I get it. We live in a world where it absolutely matters. I get it. I get what you're saying.
But we have both said from the jump, like every time, like even to find out that The Bachelor was released a single, we just want real people doing real stuff. And I don't know if we get the privilege of having it anymore. And it's a real
You do.
bummer.
They're all on YouTube and TikTok and Twitch, and that's where the real people are.
Okay, well, we
And
don't get
that's where
them
all
on the
the
shows
eyeballs
that
are.
are on
Because these shows
network
are
television.
antiquated. They're newspapers now. Like I hate to say it, my whole career has been in television, but there's a reason we sit here now and broadcast to YouTube, and that's because
Chrissy Chic is on YouTube.
yeah, dude. Like,
hello.
I'm curious to see what the next kind of swing of the pendulum is with all of this, because
I mean, the internet, that's what's next. You mean after the internet? You're curious to see what happens after the
just
internet?
like the evolution of, we're not going to stop having a reality TV. It will take a different form. So like you said, is that the YouTube channel? Is that,
But YouTube is reality TV now.
Right. But it's
The
not.
only thing that's going away is network television, satellite television. Like, you turn on CBS and you watch a show at 8 o'clock. That's not a thing anymore. That's what's going away. So the radio gave way for TVs or black movies without sound, and then talkies, and now we have the internet. So people are watching the internet. Advertisers are now gone to the internet. There used to just be TV and radio and magazines. Nobody reads magazines anymore. Nobody listens to radio anymore. So TV was a big thing. Now the internet's a thing. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and that's where people hang out. That's entertainment now. YouTube is reality TV.
Yeah, but don't you remember when we were in that? I feel like we're still in an in-between phase where it's like when terrestrial radio was
in between what?
I'm going to tell you. When terrestrial radio was really on its last leg, like maybe broadcast or network television is now. And then there was Sirius and things like that, but we hadn't gotten to podcasts yet, where podcasts were these huge things and everybody had a podcast. Now,
because there wasn't a device, like whatever that thing, what was that thing called?
iPod?
An iPod. Like a podcast is called a podcast because it was supposed to be a show on an iPod.
Right, but I'm saying there was this whole transitional period of time. Like I remember Howard Stern used to always talk smack about podcasts. So clearly Sirius and terrestrial and podcasts have existed at the same time, and everyone thought podcasts were kind of a joke. Like anyone who's told a good story at a dinner party one time all of a sudden started a podcast. And now it's like, no, you have real people doing, like Oprah, and I'm sure Howard says he will never do a podcast, but you understand what I'm saying. So I just think we're in that in-between phase of...
Howard does a podcast. It's broadcast on the radio. If it was broadcast, if I listen to his radio show on an iPod, it's a podcast. He's doing a podcast. He's doing a radio show. We're doing a podcast. We're doing where do you listen to it?
Like we talk about this all the time. Like if we want to do a podcast, we would just all need to just be at our own houses. We wouldn't need all this junk, and we would just have like earbuds, whatever, and nothing else. Right now, this show doesn't really have what I think is a term that makes any sense. I understand
Agreed.
That a podcast can be broadcast now. We're obviously you're all watching us. No one's listening on Spotify.
that we know for sure.
Yeah, that was a shock to me.
Samesies. I pushed real hard for that.
No, and I was right behind. Like I knew that like we had bigger fish, but like I still was like, oh, because I'm such a earbud listener.
Same.
Everywhere. I don't need visual. I'm 90% ear only because I need a buddy while I'm doing stuff.
Same.
I wish that they would figure out what is this a podcast or is this a show?
What we're doing?
Yeah.
It's a recap show.
Is it a podcast or is it a show, a talk show?
I mean, it
I've been asking this question to myself.
Same. I just call it a podcast because I have no other name for it.
Yeah, we need a name for it. We should create one.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll ask the show host. What should we call this? What is this thing? You're all show hosts, by the way. I wonder if you're offended by that because that's what we call ourselves as show hosts. Are you okay with that?
I'm offended by that.
We have a group chat called show hosts.
It's really cute. We have artwork and everything.
The other thing we thought of last night was show ponies.
That's adorable.
Isn't that adorable? Okay, sorry, Mike. What?
I'm
annoying Mike.
Pony. Before we get into the comments, I would just like to take this time to thank America and specifically the Americans that are watching this that commented on my hair. Thank you so much. Being a curly-haired girl is not always easy, and the fact that you saw me and you complimented my noodles, I just want to say I love you long time and thank you.
My hair will probably be going through a change.
People loved the pony. I loved the pony. I thought she looked so cute. I was like, oh my God, if we were boyfriend, girlfriend, and like we were moving and you had that cute little flannel on and your ponytail, I would be like, I have the cutest girlfriend in America. I just thought you looked so goddamn adorable.
Courtney's never moved
Little-
with Natalie before.
Little secret: if you see me with a pony, it's because I haven't washed my hair.
Yeah, that's everyone.
Is it?
Yeah, that's me. Not Mike, but that's me.
Pat Clark is pretty nailed this one. Lil is as weird as Joe on VPR, Vanderpump.
Nailed
Run,
it.
Carl, run. Totally nailed that. I know different shows, but Joe on Vanderpump is a super weirdo who's like a little borderline Schwartz stalker, and Lil she's Joe. That's so good.
Nettie always coming in with the wisdom. Nettie said, what Lexi needs to be reminded of is that a man withholding information is the same as lying.
It's true,
It's true.
especially when you're not cute.
Oh my God, wait, I love Sarah McBride's drinking game. She drinks every time I call Mike Mark.
Dude, Sarah McBride's probably dead. I hope your cats
Or
are
having a
because she
pretty
drank
good
herself
time.
to death.
Oh,
Because I call him Mark so much. It's on purpose. I LOL.
Patrick Boren, the breadwinner comment was not just tacky, but a cheap shot. I agree. The words that came out of my mouth cannot be repeated here, so I'll say, hey, Paige, you're attractive on the outside and occasionally funny, but you're nowhere near your ego. I got to tell you, that last sentence I loved. Not just because it was about Paige, I just loved it in general. You're nowhere near your ego. There's so many people I would like to say that to.
that is not a shared. Well, listen, I didn't love the breadwinner thing, but I thought Paige is so cute.
I think she's so cute.
Another one from Vicky Lynn, breadwinner. Imagine if Craig said that. I'm the breadwinner, so you should make the sacrifices.
I feel like the term breadwinner is what's really got people up in arms, because I wonder
It's
if
just a connotation, but you said you didn't have it. So I feel like there's an audience that always just looked at it as black and white, as like who makes more money.
Yeah, that's literally how I thought
took
of it.
as a slam, as like something that like you always, like a man always says to a woman, he's the breadwinner of the household. So I think it's an old school word that probably just needs to be dumped, and like it should just be called what it's called. The
Egg winner.
It's just something that's very specific about money. Breadwinner just sounds like the second person, whoever's not the breadwinner should be, well, I'm not the breadwinner, so I guess I don't have much, my take isn't equal. You know, it's just a word that should just be revamped.
Yeah, because what I was going to say is I think if she said like, I make the lion's share of the money if we are to combine households, so it makes sense to live where I work.
Yeah.
If she said that, I don't think anyone would have had a problem with it. I don't.
I still think people would have had a problem with it. I would love to believe that they didn't. Yeah. But I wouldn't have. Like when you said, well, I think she just doesn't want to say that she makes more money. And it's like, no, that's exactly what she should have said, because it's black and white and gets to the point, and it's an arguable, like, it's dollars and cents.
Yep.
Show us your pay stubs.
Totally. It's like, the word diva actually used to be a compliment. Like it meant like this woman who was just like super successful and it was a lot of like for opera singers, and she's the star of the show. She's the diva of the show. And because, you know, people want to maybe not be so nice to ladies, it's now turned like, oh, such a diva. But it actually was a positive thing. So I feel like something happened with breadwinner along the way.
Yeah.
That we just got to start from scratch now. I wanted to talk about this one. Someone, it was Sandy with Cats. She said, I just Googled to see if the soft bar opened. No. And stumbled upon an interesting fact. It says Carl graduated from Harvard Business School in 2015. Who knew? Hold on. He did not graduate from Harvard Business School.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
He graduated from Syracuse University.
Yes, he did a Harvard Business School class, and he finished the class.
Oh.
So like if Harvard Business School was doing like an ancillary night class on how to become an entrepreneur, he joined it and finished it.
Got it. Okay.
So it's like one of my friends, Columbia University, used to do like a writer's class, and you didn't have to submit grades, SATs, none of that stuff. You just went, you did the assignments, and like graduated basically. I'm not trying to poo-poo what he did, but it is a
No, totally.
representation. He did not go to Harvard Business School. He said that. I got that information from him.
Carl
he was
did?
he was on Nick Viall, and they were like, oh my, you went to Harvard Business School. And he was like, that's not exactly. I did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. It seemed like whoever looked it up, and like, I don't know if there was a screenshot of it, or if I even just like put it into the Google machine really quickly, it did come up like that he graduated from Harvard Business, and
you got to dig to find Syracuse.
I was just gonna say, it seems like someone might have isn't going out of their way to correct a Wikipedia. And
I'm biting my tongue because I don't want to hate on Carl anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I would leave it be.
See what I did?
This is funny. Truth for peace for freedom. Jesse Solomon is like that cartoon dog that when he gets horny, his eyes bug out of his skull and his mouth is open wide, letting his tongue roll out like a red carpet.
Yeah.
I love that little cartoon dog.
Yeah,
oh, and it sounds like, ooga, like that guy.
No. We've been calling him a walking boner.
Barf. You wrote barf. That's funny.
Yeah,
By the word, Vicky Lynn used a word I've not only never heard of, I don't even know if I know how to pronounce it. Paige is a misandrist.
I think that's a female version of a misogynist because that's what it said before it was edited. But also, Sugar Shane, I was half hoping that you're Sugar Shane Mosley, but it's fine that you're not because your songs are f***ing banging. I went to your channel. Big fan. I just started listening. I'm a new listener. I'm obsessed with the three of you. Thank you. Courtney, Mike, and Natalie, the show is amazing. West is exhausting. I agree. West is a great addition, but if all his storyline is going to be about Sierra, then we can give it up as far as Jesse goes. Jesse is turning out to be that person that Paige and Amanda thought he was going to be his first season. Am I right or am I wrong? You're right. You're right.
You're right.
When you're right, you're right. Oh, here's the Grace Carr, the comment about the boyfriend experience.
Oh, good. I was going to tell someone, can you find that?
I saw that, yeah.
I've
Grace Carr. I think Jesse is a flavor of F-boy who unfortunately loves to give the boyfriend experience. He loves to go to the store and buy your mom flowers because he's a nice boy. Buy you flowers because he knows you'll like it. Text you constantly because he genuinely wants to. But he doesn't actually want to date you. He has fun being a lover boy and love bombing and then gets confused when emotions run high with his female counterparts. He likes giving and receiving attention and affection, but I don't think he wants to settle down with one person for a long time.
Agreed with all of that.
I'm going to include some, since there's no more Southern Charm and there are some Paige comments in this last week's Southern Charm, because I don't know where we read them since there's no more Southern Charm. Meteor Wine says, I don't think there is a big mystery about Paige's behavior. She has always been 100% focused on her career right from the start. She is also the smartest and most adept at the influencer game. I think all of her moves are in service to her goals, being on 2 shows better than 1. And yes, Craig and Paige were never going to couple up. Even if Craig moved to New York, the Giggly tour was the inflection. I've worked my whole life for this.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I think it's excellent. Excellent work.
Yeah.
Yeah, a misandrist is a person who hates, dislikes, or mistrusts men.
Oh, thank you for that new word in my vocab, misandrist.
I am curious about this. Laura Deck said, Paige said one time that she thought it was so weird that everyone in Craig's friend group still hangs out with their exes. She said something like, when I break up with someone, that's it. We're done and I never speak to them again. Craig said that she sent him all of his things back that were at her apartment, and she sent back everything Craig had ever given her. When Paige is done, she's done. I feel like Craig was just ignoring all the signs that Paige wasn't really ready to settle down. She kept saying she wasn't ready. When Andy said that's an HR issue, I thought he meant Paige had been dating someone in production maybe. I love you guys and keep up the great videos. All of that, yes. I don't think Paige would ever date someone in production.
Same, but I read that.
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that.
There is.
No, but
well,
at this
from an
point,
HR point of view, there
you don't
is.
leave Craig and then go back to the blue collar. You're going to the finance.
You going to the white collar?
Yeah, you're going white collar. Patagonia vest, finance bro.
Dude, that commercial with the mom. Dad, is mom a finance bro now? There's a new one where she's like, yeah, the Asian markets are popping off. Who wants shots? The dad's like, shots?
I loved that comment so much because I remembered that she said that because I just rewatched Southern Charm. And I'm like, of course she shipped all of his stuff back to his house. She literally, this is why when someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time. She said exactly who she was on a date. She said this to him on the first season that she ever filmed Southern Charm. It was because he had just broken up with Naomi and they were sitting, and Naomi wanted to get dinner with him to talk about something, I feel like, with like Catherine, which I
love Catherine, come home.
Yes, but it was ridiculous. Like they didn't need to go to dinner.
Yeah.
Naomi, I think, still just did have feelings for Craig, and they had hooked up when they were in Vegas when her when Craig and Paige were still not exclusive,
Yeah.
he had slept with Naomi.
Yeah.
And so when Craig brought it up to Paige at this dinner, Paige was like, yeah, that's inappropriate. You guys still hang out with each other. That's not what you do in New York. You're dead to me. I will never speak to you again.
Yeah.
And by the way, it is very Italian of her. I can speak for my people because when, like I keep saying, when you're dead to me, you're dead to me.
But I replied to this person that like the gifts would have to be so horrendous for me to send back gifts. I love a gift. It would have to be like the jankiest gifts ever for me to like deliver it all back.
I'm wondering though if they were conflating things because I remember Craig said on the reunion, he was like, she sent all my stuff back to me. So I wonder if they were just paraphrasing, saying like stuff and gifts because I did not hear anywhere that she sent back gifts. I would not send back gifts.
I didn't hear that part, but I'm not sure where this is, but like this person went out of their way to capitalize AND, like, and everything he had ever sent her. So I'm wondering if like maybe it's on like just a different interview. Like these guys are out there all the time doing. I'll catch something and be like, I'm so glad I caught this. I would have never known this detail that like I think is very important detail in like whatever's happening.
Did we say who said that?
Laura Deck.
Lori Deck. If you know where you read it, let us know because we're journalists. And we need to know.
Joanne Greco says, I was a Summer House fan, but it's run its course. The new people suck. They're Gen Z, lazy, whiny, anorexic. Emerald has zero personality. He just gets drunk and screws lots of people at a time. If it was HBO or Cinemax and we saw the sex, perhaps it would be interesting. Or if we find out he's a super spreader and all these men and women sue him and we get to see the court case, then okay. But the way it is now, it's just boring. Listen, producers, this lady is giving you idea after idea. Like,
Great.
Come on. Jesse, Wes, Paige, and Sierra used to have potential for having personality and had interesting romantic lives, but now I hate all those lying cheaters. I'm really sick of Kyle's drunk, whiny ass, and Carl, Lindsay, and Gabby really don't belong. The only one I still like is Amanda, and I'm still hoping she divorces Kyle. Bravo. You have so many things to work with here. I'm sure you can find one of those bits and make a successful season 10.
Do better. Joanne has.
Yeah, don't be the Southern Charm season 10. Be a Summer House season 10. Bring it home.
Yeah. Okay, D Smiles. What a good name. Said, Aquarian here, spot on regarding Craig.
Truth for Peace for Freedom. When Craig and Paige started dating, he saw potential for a wife and children. She saw the potential for her star to rise. I don't think she ever had long-term plans with Craig. Did you already read this?
No.
Okay. I don't think she ever had long-term plans with Craig. She just enjoyed cosplaying as a trad wife. See beekeeper outfit. It was fun for her to fantasize about this lifestyle, but it wasn't for her. I still like both of them. About Craig's new relationship with Natalie, I see red flags. Why can't he just find a regular woman who hasn't had a relationship with a famous rich man? He's been targeted by opportunists. He needs some help finding a nice woman to date. I'm not saying that Natalie can't be nice. I'm just saying he needs to be careful and don't ignore the red flags. Hopefully Craig finds a woman who falls in love with his uniqueness, not his fame and money.
Guys, we're doing The Valley. So many people said they watched The Valley.
Yeah.
And we're doing it. And I'm excited. I'm everything. I've rewatched all of it. I've rewatched the trailer, the upcoming attractions. I think this show is not letting us down
because these people have been out of the game for a minute,
and it's only season 2.
So we've got two things going for us. I assume getting fired from Vanderpump like Kristen Doty and Jax did to get that second chance, like they're going to do everything and anything they can to keep it. But
also, like the season 1 hit everyone at the perfect time for the drums.
Yeah. No, we're in that sweet spot of like, everybody has everything to lose from not knocking one out of the park. We're going to showmance the shit out of this show all season. So we're just to get anybody who has didn't watch season 1, we're just going to give you all you need to know to not have to watch all 12 episodes if you don't have the time.
It's the Cliff's Notes for The Valley. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it'll be up real soon. Where are the cats? They are getting deducted from their pay. Not one kitten all show. I'm docking their pay.
They're in the union.
Yeah. You're not getting paid for this, Minnie.
No, that's the thing about unions.
Okay. We did it, Joe.